Like, who wants to go into surgery when you know someone before you had just passed away? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing my tummy tuck experience and my journey. I am currently 7 weeks post-op. So I just wanted to share how the whole entire thing went because I felt like there was a lot of things that I didn't know going into it. And I feel like sharing my experience is gonna better prepare other people who are thinking about doing it or already have one scheduled. So we're just gonna jump right in. First things first, why did I decide to do a tummy tuck? I feel like a lot of people have seen me and they just see like a slim exterior and immediately they think like, why would you do that? So when I was 17 years old, I got pregnant and I gained 100 pounds, damn near 100 pounds. I went from like 100 pounds to about like 190-ish. Again, almost 100 pounds. And my tummy grew so big. I mean, people would look at me and think I was having like triplets or twins from how much my stomach extended during my pregnancy. And so from gaining that much weight and from my skin stretching so much, I did have like a lot of stretch marks and I did have loose skin. And let me tell you guys, I've tried everything. I tried creams, like every single cream that you can imagine, every single oil that you can imagine. Tried that. Working out, definitely have done that. None of those things get rid of stretch marks. None of those things get rid of extra skin. So it's like, it's very annoying and tiring when you hear people say like, why don't you just work out? Or they think that like creams are just magically gonna get rid of stretch marks. And let me tell you guys, it does not work. I tried that, all sorts of different things for a good damn near 17 years and none of it worked. So finally at the age of 35, so got pregnant at 17, that's when I, experienced my skin stretching to the point of being 35 and having the surgery. That's about 17, 18 years. Like my son is going to be 18 this year. And so I finally made that decision for myself and that's why I did it. Okay, so next I want to talk about picking my doctor, picking my surgeon, who I picked first, and then who I ended up having my surgery with. So at first, I did look locally in the United States and, calling around, getting prices, looking at before and afters, looking at results. And the results were okay. They weren't like amazing. And my mom did a tummy tuck in DR and her tummy tuck came out great. Like her belly was looking better than mine's. My sister also did a tummy tuck in DR. Everything went well. So I ended up looking in the Dominican Republic, which is where we are from. I am Dominican. And definitely will say that the results, like the work that they do out there it's amazing. Like it just looks way better. Like they know how to do the hourglass like figure, like they know what they're doing out there compared to, again, in the States. I feel like they do okay work. Anyways, so I decided that I was going to start looking in the Dominican Republic and I found a doctor, Eduardo Veras, and scheduled, sent my deposit, and that man was doing some amazing work from what I can see from the social media, right? And I scheduled my appointment. I sent my deposit, which was $500, and I was very close to that surgery date, and something in my spirit wasn't feeling right. So I started like doing even more research, looking at his social media, and I was finding that he stopped posting. And this surgeon, like a lot of surgeons do, they post at work. They're posting damn near every day. So I noticed that he stopped posting, and I found that to be very weird. So I'm like, I wonder what's going on. So I was doing some digging on Google, and I just kept going like from page to page to page. You know how the bottom of Google has like numbers of pages? So, I'm not finding anything in the first few pages, but I keep going. Like something told me to keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. And I ended up finding out that he had a recent death. And it was a mom with like 2 kids from the US, basically my age. And I had to cancel my appointment because they were definitely getting ready to see me. Like they would have taken me, I would have had my surgery, but I didn't feel comfortable going forward with that doctor, learning about this death, this very recent death. Like who wants to go into surgery when you know someone before you had just passed away? And it was just very heartbreaking because you try to put yourself in that position. Like I could have been me, literally. So I decided not to go with that doctor. I know he was going through like some lawsuits as well. So I'm like, you know what? He does amazing work, but it didn't feel right. So lost my deposit and I kind of like gave up on it for a few months. I stopped looking, just try to get my mind right. And so that was like last year and the beginning of this year. I still wanted to have a tummy tuck because again, I've tried all of these different things and nothing is working. So obviously the only way for me to get the result that I want is to get a tummy tuck. So my sister, who's had a tummy tuck as well, she had like a mini tummy tuck, and like this girl, like she knows how to do research on surgeries. Like she knows like what she's doing. And one of her friends' mom went and had a surgery with this doctor that I picked now, the one that I did the surgery with. Her name is Maria Fernanda Nuñez. I hope I'm saying her complete name right. Maria Fernanda is who I ended up going with in DR. Scheduled my date, sent my $500 deposit. She does amazing work. Like if you go on her Instagram, like you see that she knows what she's doing. I feel like you guys are gonna want to see like my before. I don't know that I feel comfortable putting my before out there, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I might put it up here. But anyways, I scheduled my surgery. I sent my deposit. And yeah, I picked that doctor because she did amazing work, did some research, and didn't find any negative things about her. Okay, so another reason why I chose the Dominican Republic to go and do the surgery is because when I was calling around here in the US, so I was calling around in like Orlando and Miami because I'm in the Central Florida region. So like Tampa, Orlando, and Miami were the closest cities to me. When I would call these facilities, I would ask them, like right after surgery, what happens? And for the most part, right after surgery, they wheel you out the door and you are on your own. And I did not feel comfortable just like being let go pretty much like the same night or the very next morning and just being on my own. So in the Dominican Republic, what they do is you enter a recovery house, a recovery home. And that's where you get like watched by nurses, you get taken care of, they help you. And so that's why I chose to go to DR. So I chose to go to DR because the doctors out there do better work. Like the results are amazing. Of course, the price is much better. And then also because there's so many recovery homes out there. So before doing your surgery, there's some things that you have to prepare. Like you gotta make sure your blood work is right. You have to get cleared for surgery by your doctor. So you gotta see like your primary care physician, do some blood work. They gotta make sure that your iron, like your hemoglobin levels, have to be good because losing blood after surgery or during surgery is very common. And so like your iron levels, your hemoglobin levels have to be pretty good. Like you can't go in to surgery with low iron levels. So initially last year, when I was scheduled to do my surgery with Eduardo Veras, my iron was low. I did have to get like iron infusions, and I prepared like my blood that way. And then going into it this year with my new doctor, luckily, and I think it's because of the iron infusions from last year, my iron was good, so I didn't have to do much of that. They did send some instructions, like the surgeon that I did the surgery with sent some instructions on like what vitamins to take, kind of how to prepare myself for surgery. So definitely your iron levels have to be on point. I feel like another thing that you have to prepare for is like mentally. You got to prepare yourself for like, what are the risks? You know, are you willing to take those risks? I think we all know that with surgery comes the risk of passing away, right? Not making it back home to your family. And so for a very, very long time, you guys, like I definitely had that fear of like, is it worth doing this and like not coming back to my family and like my children not having a mom and just leaving the world. And I mean, the honest truth is like, it's not worth it. You know, the risk, it's not worth it. But I decided to put my fear onto God. And I just gave him my fear and, you know, prayed about it. And I just felt comfortable moving forward and knowing that God got me and that I would be okay. So yes, I was scared for a very long time, but after I put my fear onto God, you know, he took that fear away. I felt comfortable moving forward. So again, you just have to mentally prepare yourself, but also physically prepare yourself for the surgery. So now when it comes down to the surgery, so I flew into the Dominican Republic about 2 to 3 days before surgery. I go into the recovery home, awaiting for, you know, my surgery date. But the day before surgery, you have to do like some blood work. You have to see a cardiologist and you have to see a pulmonologist. So they do like a breathing test. Cardiologist does like EKG and things. They just want to make sure that your heart is fine, your lungs are fine, your blood is fine. So I did all of that, got cleared again in DR. So I did like a double clearance, like getting cleared here in the US and going in DR and getting cleared for surgery over there. So then the day of surgery, you know, in a waiting room, waiting for your turn basically, and it was like 3 p.m. I wasn't too happy about waiting because I'm like, I want to be the first one. Like, I want the doctor to be like, you know, fresh. I don't want her to be tired after. God knows how many surgeries she does in a day, you know. I wanted to be the first one. So like every hour that passed, I'm like, I don't want to do this because I don't want to be the last one. And they kept reassuring me like, you're not the last one, you're not the last one. Anyways, 3 p.m. rolls around. I get to see the doctor and, you know, she looks at my body. She tells me like how everything's going to go. And then I basically get like wheeled into surgery. What I do love about Dr. Maria Fernanda is that she prays over you. Like, I definitely remember her praying over me on the surgery table. And then I don't remember anything after that because they put me to sleep. And then I woke up in like the recovery area where there's like other girls also waking up from their surgeries. And I just remember being so cold and like shivering, like painfully shivering because it's freezing in like the surgery facility. And then just being like brought into like a recovery room where you get to stay like the first night. That very next morning after surgery, everything was going well, but then I started to feel lightheaded and I felt like I was gonna faint, like very, very close to fainting. And I was telling my nurse there, because there's a nurse that stays in the room with you 24/7. And that's what I love about having to go to DR, because in the States, they don't do that. So I had a nurse, I guess unless you pay like really good money for it, but I had a nurse there 24/7, and I was telling her, sorry, I was telling her that I was kind of feeling like I couldn't breathe. I was feeling like a loss of air, like I couldn't get in enough air. And then all of a sudden I felt like I was going to pass out. And immediately there was like 6 nurses in the room, trying to keep me awake, elevating my feet, making me smell alcohol. And they pretty much like were able to keep me from passing out. Turns out that I lost, a good amount of blood during surgery, which again is very common. And I did have to have like a blood transfusion because my hemoglobin was low. So I went in with good iron levels, good hemoglobin, but then, after surgery and losing the blood, my hemoglobin levels dropped to a 7. And so they had to give me 2 bags of blood. So I did have to get a blood transfusion. So then you go to a recovery home after that. And I was in the recovery home for about 14 days. So I paid for like 2 weeks worth. And I loved the recovery home because it includes like food. It includes the nurses taking care of you. I did pick a room where you share it with somebody else. So when it comes to the recovery home, you get to pick how many days you're going to stay. And that's how they price you out too. So it's like, are you going to stay there 5 days, 7 days, 14 days? Like, I know somebody who stayed there for 7 days. I know somebody who stayed there for a month. So it's really up to you. Honestly, I decided to stay for 2 weeks, and I just love being there because these women, they become family, and they like really take care of you. They're always watching over you. They're always making sure that like you're drinking enough water, that you're eating. Those first few days are rough because you can barely move from the surgery. So they help you in and out of bed. They help you get dressed. They help bathe you. Like, they basically help you like with your hair because, some women get their breasts done. I didn't do anything with my breasts. I also didn't do a BBL. So I'm going to go over like how much I paid for everything. And I just went in for the tummy tuck, and it was still very difficult to do a lot of things. And so it was just very helpful to be at a recovery home, because if I would have came home, as a mom, like you can't sit still, and you're always finding something to do. It's either you gotta cook, you gotta clean, you gotta take care of the kids. You find yourself picking up things like, you're not supposed to do it. You're supposed to be resting, but it's kind of hard for us to stay still as moms. And so that's why I decided like I need to be in a recovery home where I don't have to worry about any of those things. And there's somebody there who is going to take care of me. It's going to help me walk from the bathroom, maybe to the living room or to the dining room to eat. So I'm definitely going to recommend that whether you do it in the US, you do it in whatever country that you're going to go to, that you stay in a recovery home where there is nurses that can watch over you. When it comes to sharing rooms, the choices are single, like private, where you're there by yourself. Obviously, that costs more money. The other choice is like doubles, where it's you and another person. And then the third choice was you and 2 other people. So like 3 people in a room. So I decided to do me and another person, so the double. The reason why I did that is because I didn't want to be by myself. Like, what if something happened? Or I just wanted to have someone to conversate with. Like, maybe we're just talking about each other's experience, helping each other out. So that's why I decided to do me and another person, because I just wanted to not be lonely. I just wanted to have somebody to talk to. There are some cons to that because, luckily you get a roommate that is mindful, because I had a total of 3 roommates, because again, these girls who come in, they decide like how many days they stay. So I'm there for 14 days. When I came in, there was a girl who had only like 5 days left. And so a new girl came in. So anyways, one of my roommates was very inconsiderate. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very light sleeper. Like, it has to be very cool in the room. It has to be quiet. It just has to be like cool, dark, quiet, right? And this girl is getting like FaceTime calls. She forgot her like headphones, so she's on FaceTime on speakerphone. It's 3 in the morning and you're on the phone talking out loud, speakerphone. So not only can I hear the other person that's on the other side of the phone, I can hear you, and I could just hear y'all's conversation, and I'm over here trying to sleep. Like, I'm over here trying to sleep and recover, and you're over here being like loud, laughing, having conversations, like having no consideration for the person next to you. I found that inconsiderate, because when my husband would call me at like midnight, if my roommate is sleeping, I would say like, hey honey, good night. I'm gonna be going to sleep. My roommate is sleeping next to me, and like keep it short, right? Like, I'm gonna just keep it short because my roommate is sleeping. Like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So that was like one of the cons. Like, I found it to be annoying, but anywho, just know that that's a possibility. When it comes to a tummy tuck, when you're recovering, like immediately after, you're gonna be hunched over, like literally can't stand up straight. You're hunching over because, they pulled your skin down tight, sewed it back together, so you can't really like stand up straight and like stretch. So you're walking kind of like, hunched over. I was pretty hunched over until like a week ago. Okay. So it took me like 6 weeks to be able to stand up directly straight up again. So just know, if you're doing a tummy tuck, you're going to be pretty hunched over for a little bit. Everybody's different. So you may be like hunched over for a couple weeks. You may be hunched over for like 6 weeks like I was. All right, guys. So now to talk about the not so fun things. I definitely experienced some complications. Let me tell you, my journey was nothing like how I imagined it would be, what I thought it would be. Like, I thought it was going to be like just straight up smooth recovery. Everything's going to be fine. It did not happen like that for me, unfortunately. And I don't think it has anything to do with my doctor. I don't think it has to do anything with the nurses, the recovery home. I think it was just how my body took the surgery. So complications with it being like my low iron levels. I had to get blood transfusion twice. I had to get like a total of 4 bags of blood because my iron was so low. Another complication that I had was when you get a tummy tuck, you have drains, and that's how like the fluid, like the blood drains out after a tummy tuck. My drains kept getting clotted or clogged with blood clots. Like, they kept saying that I clot fast. So my drains would keep getting like clogged and they wouldn't drain properly. So a week after surgery, 7 days after, my drains got so clogged up that I had to get a revision, which means I had to go back into surgery 7 days after the initial surgery. I had to go back into the operating room, and that was pretty scary for me because I was absolutely not prepared to go in twice. But I had to. So the second time they didn't put me to sleep. I actually don't know why I wasn't put under. like anesthesia. I was like awake for that. And they had to put a new drain in, and I was awake for that. And let me tell you guys, it was painful. I did feel the pain, and I was literally saying like, "Ay, me duele," which means ow, it hurts. And they gave me like, I think something in my IV that kind of, it didn't knock me out. I didn't go to sleep, but like I didn't feel the pain, but my mind felt like it went into like, I was in another world. Anyways, I went through that. So having to kind of start recovery all the way over like it was day one. So I had to do that. And then I got an infection where the drain was. So I had to deal with that. I had to be on antibiotics, antibiotics by mouth. And then I had to get antibiotics through like an IV in my arm. Let me just take a deep breath because it was a lot. It was a lot. But I made it through. So grateful. Honestly, would I do it again? Yes, you guys, because I'm so happy with my results. Like compared to before and after, you know, I would do it all over again. I just hate that I had to experience those complications, but I did want to share that because, you know, that could happen. A lot of the girls that also had a tummy tuck in the recovery home, they were doing great. Like those girls did not experience what I experienced. And some of those girls did more surgeries than I did. Like I just did a tummy tuck. Some of the girls over there, they had like the breast done, tummy tuck, and BBL, which is like the mommy makeover. One of the girls had like her ribs done, BBL, and a tummy tuck, and she was doing great, like recovering amazing. Again, I don't know why I went through what I went through. I'm sure there's like a reason for it, you know. I'm just glad that I made it. Like I feel like a survivor, to be honest. Like I'm just glad that I made it. All right, now let's talk about the massages. So after a tummy tuck, you have to get massages. I got massages in DR. I got 10 of them, so a package of 10. And let me tell you guys, that hurt more than anything, more than everything. It hurt more than the surgery. Like just any pain from surgery was absolutely nothing compared to the massages. Like they were very, 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 very painful for me. Honestly, like I was praying through it because I'm like, ooh, very painful. Just know that the massages are very uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. During the massages, I guess I was getting like some seromas, which is like fluid filled pockets. Again, my drains, I was not draining well. So like fluid was getting like built up, and she would have to basically drain it out with a syringe. So she would poke my belly with a syringe and like dry it out through the syringe. And I was getting poked like all over again because my drain was not draining properly. So when I tell you guys I was going through it, horrible. Like absolutely horrible. Another thing you want to be aware of is like faja burns and then lipo burns. So I had a tummy tuck. They did do lipo in my back. Thank God no lipo burns, because I have seen some images of lipo burns and that's pretty like extreme. So I did have some complications, but thank God I did not have no lipo burns. I did get like 2 or 3 faja burns, and like right now I have a faja on. So like if you see this, it's because I have a faja on. So I'll show you guys. I have my faja on and I have a tank top underneath. So one day, a couple of times I wore my faja without the tank top underneath, and so that definitely did not help, and my faja like rubbed against my skin, so that friction caused a faja burn, which does heal over time. And I was told that like any kind of like scar left over from a faja burn ends up going away. So that's like nothing compared to like, you know, the complications that you could get. Lipo burn again is like way more serious than a faja burn. Now, the other thing I want to mention that is considered like post-op care is showers. So in DR, they would not let you take showers. I don't know what's in the water over there, but in the recovery home, they would not let us shower, like actually go in the shower and let like the water, hit you. We were not allowed to shower. I think it's because, again, like any bacteria that might be in the water, if it gets inside of your wounds, you can end up with like an infection. So the way that we bathe and would bathe for like weeks is washcloth. So it's like washcloth, soap, and like literally washing your entire body with a washcloth. So heads up, it really depends on your doctor. Depends on where you do it. Some doctors are okay with you taking a shower, and some of them are going to be like, if you have any open wounds, do not take a shower. So now let's talk about the scar. So tummy tuck. You may or may not know, but depending on the type of tummy tuck that you get, like whether it's mini or full, I got a full tummy tuck. I got a scar that's from hip to hip. So my plan with taking care of my scars, using like scar gel and the silicone scar tape. I'm going to link these things in the description box so that you can see what it is that I am using. Also, beware if you get lipo. I didn't know this part, but you get lipo scars as well. So I got lipo in my back, and I got like two little spots where they put in like, the lipo rod. And that's a scar that's probably going to be there forever. And, it's not like humongous, probably like the size of a dime. But again, it does leave a scar. I probably plan on like putting a little tattoo over it, maybe like a little cute butterfly or something. But just know that if you have lipo, where they put the rod in for the lipo to suck your fat out, you're gonna have a scar there. Now let's break down the cost. And I got my computer in front of me because I want to make sure that I don't forget the cost. So the total was about $10,000. For the tummy tuck itself, it was $6,000. In DR, they include a BBL. So tummy tuck, lipo, BBL, $6,000. I did not do the BBL. They were asking me again during my consultation, like, hey, do you want to do the BBL? And I'm like, honestly, I'm good. Like, I have a natural booty. Like, I'm good with my natural booty. Honestly, I'm good working out. I like working out. I know what workouts to do if I want to, like, make my booty perk up more. I'm good. No BBL. So just tummy tuck. $6,000. To see the pulmonologist, the cardiologist, $100 each. The recovery home was about $100 a day, so 14 days, $1,400. Massages package of 10 was $500. To get blood set aside for you in case you need a blood transfusion, $300. They do give you money back if you don't use the blood, but I had to use the blood. You also have to pay for like insurance for complications, which thank God, because I definitely had complications. Again, I had to go into surgery a second time. Didn't have to pay for that. The insurance is $350 for complications. $150 for the baja. $150 for the baja. $200 for like your medications, vitamins, the blood thinner injections that you have to get, because you do have to get that like every day for like 10 days. That's also not fun. And my flight from like Orlando to DR was like $750 round trip. And then I did have some money for tips, like $100, kind of tip like my nurses basically. Like I tip them some money. So all in all, about $10,000. So guys, this is my final thoughts. Was it worth it? So for me, I'm so happy with my results, you guys. Like compared to like before and now, and like just not having to like hide my fupa under like a high waist like underwear or something, like not having to worry about my pouch. Like I feel so much more comfortable. Like I feel that us moms, like we deserve to feel like women again. Like yes, we are mothers, but we are women first, you know, and you want to feel good about yourself. And let me tell you guys, I did not like looking in the mirror. I really did not. Like, I do know that there are women out there that they very much love their bodies, like even postpartum, their stretch marks, their loose skin, which I admire. I think that is so beautiful to just like love like your stretch marks. Unfortunately, I could never get around to like just loving it. I was very grateful. Okay. I want you to know that I was very, very grateful for, you know, my body being able to like conceive children and, you know, carry them full term and, you know, have my beautiful children. I just did not fall in love with what my body looked like afterwards. Honestly, it was very, very, very hard for me to like accept what my body looked like after children. And so this was the decision for me. Doesn't have to be the decision for you. Like, you can be one of those women that just loves themselves, love yourself the way that you are. Okay, like that's a beautiful thing. But if you're like me and you just, you know, want to feel like yourself again, and you want to have the surgery, I hope that this video helped you. Let me know if you have any questions that maybe, you know, I didn't like talk about, like maybe in these topics I didn't bring up, but you're wondering and you have this question. Leave it in the comments because I would be happy to respond and let you know more about my experience if you have any specific questions. And yeah, if it's something that you're thinking about doing, just make sure that you definitely research the doctor. Like, make sure you're like all up in Google, looking page after page after page, you know, asking around, making sure that, you know, this doctor's a good doctor, that they're certified, that they haven't had any recent deaths, that, you know, maybe you know someone that went there and has had a good experience, you know. Definitely just want to make sure that you pick a right doctor because the risk is there. I am not going to sit here and tell you that there is no risk, because there is absolutely a risk with any surgery where you have to go under anesthesia. So I just want you to be mindful of that. I want you to be mentally prepared. I want you to be physically prepared. Also be mentally prepared for like the post-op is very hard. Okay, not being able to like just do everything that you used to do, like, you know, all the movements, being able to do things for yourself, having to rely on other people, you know, that can kind of mess with you a little bit. But just know that that's very temporary. Like right now, 7 week post-op, this is like the most normal I have felt in the last 7 weeks. Like, I'm starting to feel like myself again, finally, at 7 weeks. So it can take 2 months to start feeling like normal again. But yeah, I know that moms, you know, we sacrifice so much. So like, if this is something that you want to do for yourself, I say do it. Again, just make sure that you know who you're going to and that you trust that doctor. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you have any questions, leave them down below and I would be happy to respond. Bye.